Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selena. I am your holistic guide. I like to talk about food, nutrition, emotions, and creating a healthy home and lifestyle inside and out. And today I'm going to be talking to you about soap. If you missed my last video, I went into 10 things that you didn't know were toxic about your life, your home, your lifestyle, and all of that. I go into all the things of what to look out for as a broad overview and some healthier alternatives in the description box. So if you want to go check out that video, I will link that above. But in this video, I'm going to be going into deeper depth on the topic of soap, what the healthy alternative is, but also what the truly natural alternative is, all the different things to look out for when you're looking at soap, ingredient labels, how to know if a brand is trustworthy, and why we also need to be aware of how much soap we're using, because too much soap is actually not good for you either. As much as we think in the Western world that more soap is cleaner and cleaner is better, our idea of clean isn't actually what it should be necessarily. I feel like holistic health has become something of its own recently. So I'm not only going to just tell you about these non-toxic alternatives, but I'm really going to go into what is the most natural, most bio-compatible version of soap. At the end of this video, I will share the 3 safest options that I have found when you're talking about soap and finding a good soap alternative. The biggest thing here is that you're going to always want to read labels. Even for natural and organic products, you are always going to want to read the labels because those words don't really mean anything nowadays. There is so many things to look for on these ingredient labels. I'm going to give you this list of 11 things that I think are the most important or the most popular things that you're going to want to look out for. You can screenshot it, take a look at it. They're things that I would strongly recommend not finding in your soap. And if you find it, you probably want to consider throwing away your soap. This is nowhere near exhaustive. There are plenty of other things that you need to look out for, but this was the best I could find when it comes to my research and the things I mostly look at when I'm looking at soap. So be sure to do your own digging, be sure to look into your ingredients, but this would be a good place to start. Now, each of these things has their own host of reasons why they are considered toxic in my opinion and why they really shouldn't be used in soap. But to keep it short, between all of the heavy metals, the different contaminants you can have, the chemicals, the carcinogens, I'm gonna summarize all of these in the 2 most important things to look out for when you're looking at soap that I've found in my research to be most helpful. And the first category that I would kind of lump honestly most of these ingredients into is called endocrine disruptors. Now, Google's definition of endocrine disruptors is as follows. It's a chemical compound that interferes with the normal functioning of the endocrine system and the reproductive and other biological processes related to it. So what does that mean? It basically means that these ingredients actually mimic or inhibit hormones, which basically causes your hormones to really easily get out of balance. Many women who stop using products that have these kinds of endocrine disruptors in them experience less PMS, period pain, all of that, because their hormones actually start to balance themselves out. The way this happens is that fragrance, basically, for example, will mimic estrogen in your body. And this will basically cause your body to compensate for the excess, or basically kind of fooling your body into thinking that there is more estrogen there than there really is. So it tricks it into basically responding to it as an active stimuli in your body. According to an article I read on endocrine disruptors, these 4 things can be kind of common: developmental abnormalities, interference with reproduction, increased cancer risk, and overall disturbances in your nervous system and immune system function, which I feel like you could understand isn't probably the best idea. Now, the second category things will fall into is the category of preservatives. And the reason is because these preservatives are highly processed and they're oftentimes essentially made of different kinds of mold, which is what citric acid is essentially made out of. And if anyone is familiar with the word parabens, it's become a very popular word thrown around in the beauty care industry because people are realizing now that parabens are very bad for you. The reason companies use these parabens is because parabens actually extend the shelf life of a product. However, they have the same kind of hormone disrupting effects and can lead to things like breast cancer because of how they mimic these hormones in your body. So you're looking out for these endocrine disruptors, and you're also looking out for these preservatives. And the thing about both of these is that I don't think that companies are really trying to put things in the products that are meant to hurt people. I just think that they're not really thinking at all. They don't have the same kind of health consequences that most of us are dealing with. They aren't thinking about the health of the consumer as much as they are thinking about the moolah.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money!
This now leads me to my next section. How do you know if a soap brand is trustworthy? The first thing I will say is to look at where you're shopping, because a lot of the times, if you're shopping in an inexpensive place, you're going to get inexpensive things. If you're shopping at the dollar store, you're going to get cheap dollar store quality. If you're shopping at Whole Foods, you're going to get, unfortunately, very expensive but high quality products. And the second thing I will say is how popular the item is. A lot of the times, brands that make a lot of money and profit off of their product in their industry tend to cut corners quicker than smaller businesses that have more skin in the game and they care more about the consumer. I really will look at whether a company is profiting a lot from this sale. If a brand is super popular, I often question it because I know that the motive in business are not always primarily about people's health. Anytime I see something that's become really popular, I have my skeptical eyes on because I know that it's not always how it appears. And the truth is actually oftentimes not the most profitable thing. The third way I would also say to find brands that you trust is to look at the ingredient label and see if you can pronounce these words. Don't be fooled by French words. The rule still applies. If you can't pronounce it, I would not buy it. Sometimes companies will actually put the definition of words in parentheses right next to the hard to pronounce word as a way of saying this is actually what it's derived from. The reality is sometimes companies will have to translate that because consumers don't know what that word is, and we've started to do this thing where we don't buy stuff that we don't pronounce. But I will say be skeptical of even that too, because just because something is derived from something doesn't mean that it's the most authentic and pure version of it. And generally they are going to be more highly processed, altered from their original state. Pretty much in general, you can pretty much assume that because it's a different word that's meaning this one product. If it was essentially coconut oil, they wouldn't need to translate it into a different word to put it on their bottle if it was actually what it's saying that it is. The truth is that something has been altered about it, and so I just encourage you to kind of ask those questions. Why has it been altered? How has it been altered? What is this ingredient actually? Because just because it's derived from jojoba oil doesn't mean it's actually pure jojoba oil. Each ingredient has its own subset of ingredients, so you really want to think about those things too. And the fourth way to find companies that you trust for soap is to look at EWG's Skin Deep database. EWG.org has a Skin Deep database. If you just Google Skin Deep database, you'll find it. They also have an app where you can basically just scan in products at the store. If they have it in their system, it will populate and it will show you what kind of ingredients are in the product, and it will rate the products on a scale of 1 to 10. These rankings are based off of different kinds of health implications. So it might be based off allergies, cancer risk, all these things that you can assess personally. Then, am I willing to take a risk in this area? What is safe for me? But they will find, products that are listed as number 1, the best of the best that's out there. And so I really encourage you to take a look at that and see if the stores that you're shopping for locally have brands that are high up on the scale, as in number 1. You want things that are the best. It's a great tool, especially if you have questions about what each ingredient means. They really take you through what the consequences of each ingredient are and how risky each ingredient is, because you might have an ingredient that's really good for you, then you also might have an ingredient that is like a 10, and you want to be really careful of those. Okay, so for all you crunchies out there who have hung with me in all of this, I want to kind of give you what I think is my opinion on why we shouldn't use as much soap as we think that is actually necessary. Part of this toxicity journey, like I said in my other video, is not just detoxing, making sure everything is non-toxic, but you're also trying to go back to your original form. So what was my body intended to experience? Not just, is this a chemical? So something to note really is that soap strips your skin of beneficial microbes, and your skin is made up of microbes. Our cultural obsession with getting rid of bacteria has also inevitably cause us to get rid of beneficial bacteria. In a way, when you use antibacterial soap, you are essentially kind of putting like an antibiotic on your skin, for your skin, if that makes sense. So I'm not against soap, but be aware that it is stripping your skin. And so the amount of soap that you use really is important. For this reason, a lot of people will actually recommend not soaping your body every time you get in the shower, because it does strip away the natural oils in your skin and all the beneficial microbes. This can cause your skin to dry out. It can cause your skin to overproduce oils because it's trying to regulate itself, and it does make pathogenic overgrowth easier on your skin, so that things like rashes and acne and things like that, stripping your skin actually isn't always the best alternative, because there really isn't enough beneficial microbes left to kind of beat out the pathogenic ones. So you end up a lot of times with pathogenic overgrowth. I'm not saying to never use soap, but I am saying that our culture's obsession with clean may not actually be as healthy as we think it is. Because of this, Dr. Natasha actually recommends putting things like kefir or even yogurt on your skin to replenish that microbiome of your skin. She also does recommend a product on her website that is kind of like a hand sanitizer or like soap on the go kind of thing that I'll link below, that basically is made entirely of probiotic. That would be a great alternative to stripping your skin, is actually replenishing your skin. Okay, what you've all been waiting for, some other good alternatives. Number one is to make your own soap. I know you're not gonna like this one. I didn't like this one when I first heard it, but making your soap really is the best way to ensure that the ingredients inside are pure, natural, organic, all the things. I actually did this recently for the first time after 2 years of wanting to try it, but I'm also not like the biggest DIY guru there is. I followed Bumblebee Apothecary's recipe, which I will link in the description box below. She does a whole YouTube video on how to make soap for yourself. So I bought the ingredients and did it, and honestly it was really fun. I knew everything that ended up in that bar of soap, and I feel really safe and comfortable letting my family use it, me using it on my hands, on my hair, all of it. And I actually use that soap as shampoo. That's a good option. If you want to buy a good brand though, number two is going to be Dr. Bronner's. That's the one I use the most often. I fill up my refillable like foaming hand soap container with a little bit of Dr. Bronner's and some water. I will use Dr. Bronner's to sanitize my enema kit. I will use Dr. Bronner's sometimes when I'm in a pinch for laundry detergent. It's like pretty much can be used for anything because it's just the pure concentrate. It does have some essential oils in it, so you're gonna wanna also be aware of how essential oils interact in this whole space, which is also a very interesting conversation for another video. But if you're sensitive to essential oils at all, or you feel like it would be a little bit too stimulating for you, there are Dr. Bronner's brands that have no scents in them, so you could try that out. And number three is Branch Basic. Honestly guys, I haven't actually purchased Branch Basics myself, but it is a very popular brand that I very much trust. We do have it around here because one of my roommates has it, and it is really great. They actually scent their things not with essential oils like Dr. Bronner's, but instead with flowers, which is so sweet and nice. But it is all natural. You can buy the concentrate, and in the same way you can use it as a spray, use it as hand soap, you can use it for a lot of different things. It's another non-toxic brand that takes it really back to the very beginning, that concentrate of pure organic soap ingredients. If none of these apply, I would also recommend finding a good local person who makes their own soap, checking their ingredients. Those are oftentimes the best place to find good soap. Okay, I hope that was helpful. If you got anything positive out of this video, please comment below. I would love to hear what you are doing for soap and how you've managed keeping your house clean, keeping your body clean, and also keeping it as natural as possible. Please like and subscribe this video for more nutritional and emotional healing content like this. It is my passion to walk alongside people as they heal and grow. It inspires me and hopefully brings encouragement to you. Thanks for watching.